Hi everyone, welcome back to Sports Comedy with me, Radhi and Rishi. And we're edging closer to the end of the group stages of the IPL, and it is very important to finish in the top two because you get that extra life. And the conversation after today's game between RCB and SRH is: will RCB make the top two? Have they sort of given themselves a tougher chance now after this game? It's an interesting conversation. It was an interesting game in general against SRH. But we'll just quickly get thoughts and then we can start discussing the details. Adi, what do you make of it, bro?
Overall, I think it's a very disappointing performance. I think overall, especially with batting, I think it's been a bit of it coming. Just for the fact that I think our top order, our openers have been playing well, but then throughout the season, I think we've had a problem with number three and even number four position. And again today also it showed like unfortunately DDP was not there, but I don't think it would have been such a huge difference if he was there or not today. And coming to Mayank, I think it showed today, again, going back to the old, who's not been working out, who's never worked out before, who had a poor IPL last year, who's been playing IPL poorly for a while now. Bringing him back and so going towards a younger option, it shows that, again, RCB are making the same mistakes where the real thing was you have to go for the younger players and just back them. This year also guys like Bethel, who are very young, have come and played a huge role for us. So I think there itself it shows that Mayank is just not good enough. In my opinion, I don't think he's good enough to be playing at such a high level for RCB if we want to go win something. And again, on number four, I think that's the biggest problem right now for RCB is the number four position. I think Patidar has been easily the most poor performer throughout the season batting wise. I think he's been worse than even a number three who has played number three. He's just been the worst. Like I have nothing else to say. You being the captain, having the responsibility of captaincy this year, and you have to push yourself to a next level. But he's regressed. I was just looking at his stats, and it's actually so bad. Like looking at his stats since the third game when we played Gujarat Titans, he scored 12 of 12, and then he had a good game in Mumbai, which he scored 64 of 32. And then since then, he has had 25 of 23, 23 of 18, 12 of 13, 1 of 3, 6 of 6, 11 of 15, and today also he had a poor 6 of 18. So, like, till in 8 innings, he's had a strike rate of 120 once, and his highest strike rate is 127. It shows that he's just not been good enough for RCB. Like as a captain, I don't think it's been a major push for him to, captain a side where like, okay, it's been like that's a difference maker. I don't think as a captain it's been like that. And as a batsman, I think a lot of the reasons when we've lost our games, if we have to actually observe it, you have to pin it down to him because number four is where you have to get a guy who can actually take the game away from the opposition. You look at someone like Mumbai Indians where Sky's been able to play at such a high level for so long. Even yesterday I was looking at GT for example. Even their batsmen like Rutherford are coming up and playing well when it's needed. SRK for them are coming up and playing well when it's needed. But yeah, I think with Patidar, I think that's been the biggest flaw. Like every time we have a batting collapse, it starts with him. Like you look at all our losses, we've had a batting collapse, and you look who's the biggest perpetrator in all of them. It is always Patidar because he's taking up most of the balls. He's not scoring runs. And then the next person who comes to bat, he's under pressure. Today, I think Jitesh Sharma was under pressure because Patidar was batting poorly.
Bro,
And like
that's too
even
much. I don't think Jitesh Sharma was under pressure because
no,
Patidar was batting
Jitesh
well.
Sharma was clearly under pressure because
60 of
you're
it was
playing. Wait,
66
wait,
of
wait, 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 wait.
it was
Today,
66 in six
Rahul,
overs. There was no pressure. It was
Rahul, he
11
scored
and over.
16 of 18 balls. 16 of 18 balls. He had missed three balls. He had
The
three
other
dot
way
balls.
around. I'm not
He
saying
had
he
three.
had. I'm not saying he batted well, but there was not. It's unfair to say that there was pressure on the next batter because of Rajat Patidar because it was still 66 of 36 when Rajat and Jitesh were batting, and
I will
that
give
should
you a
have
sim-
we
I
should
will
have
give you a
gone across
simple
the line. We should have
I
gotten
will give you a
across the line
sim- I will
regardless.
give you a simple example. Our openers scored 62 of 32 and 43 of 25. Mayank
I'm
Agarwal,
talking
very
about
poor.
today's game. I'm just talking about
I'm
today's
talking
game.
about today's game itself. Mayank Agarwal scored 10 of 11. Already there's a bit of pressure built up there. 10 of 11 is not even 100 strike rate. Next, number four, who's the captain, 18 of 16, 18 runs of 16 balls. In that over, he had missed 3 balls where we were needing 11 and over at that time. The same context I put, Jitesh Sharma, who came after Rajat Patidar, his score was 22 of 11 balls in the same context. So yes, I do agree. You have to put, if you're talking about high standards, we have to put high standards here. We can't paint two different pitches for two different teams. Like other teams, if it was another captain or another player who did this, we would have put him under high standards. Like we were talking about Punt last time, we were telling he needs to be up there, and we can't change that for someone like Patidar and say, yeah, his innings was not the reason he put us under pressure. His innings was the reason. Guys like the guys like Jitesh Sharma and guys like
I'm sorry, when it is 66 of 36, you
Rahul, it
need
was
11.
11 runs per over,
Yeah,
and
11
then
and over in the last 6. I cannot say that's too much in a game that
dude,
you're chasing
I'm
235
sorry,
runs.
it is
You're
a
ahead of the
batting.
rate. You're ahead of
No,
the
no, no,
rate.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
no. At that time,
yeah,
we were not
yeah.
ahead of the rate. It
We
was
were
11
ahead of the
required.
rate.
We were at
We were
11.
ahead of the rate
No,
when
Rahul.
Rajat Patidar
Please,
and
we were
Jitesh
never
Sharma were
ahead of the
batting.
rate. We were
They
never
didn't
ahead.
bat well. We were ahead of the rate. Go and
Tell
check.
me
Yes,
what was the.
we were
Can you
way ahead
please
of the. I'll pull it for you right now. We were ahead of the
that?
rate.
Okay, show it to me right now. Show it to me
Yeah,
right now.
I will.
Rahul,
Show it
Rahul,
to me
Rahul,
right
Rahul.
Yeah, I will.
There's
Yeah.
one thing that you can be ahead of the rate by, again, you're not ahead of the rate by a lot. You're ahead of the rate by just margins, fine margins, okay?
Okay.
And on from one end, Jitesh Sharma is coming in and he's playing really well. Okay, I saw him playing strokes that were quite comfortable. He's playing the ball based on merit. On the other hand, there's Rajat Patidar who was struggling to clear anything. Okay, and even you can be ahead of the margin, and that margin can be closing in. There's not a huge difference between being ahead of the margin in 1 over, and 2 overs later you're looking at a big gaping hole. So you can't tell me, okay, we were ahead of the margin, so it was comfortable. If Patidar hadn't gotten out, things would have been still comfortable. They would have chased it down, because the way things were looking, going at 112 strike rate when you need 66 from 6 overs is not. There's no way you can say that, yeah, this would have been fine. He was
No,
batting pretty
I'll
poorly,
one
also
and
second.
this
The argument
also
is the
Also,
argument
wait,
is
wait. I'll just give you the context here. The required run rate was 13 at the end of 15th over. Our
I'm talking about the
RCB,
16th over at the
RCB's
end of the
run
14th
RCB's
over.
run rate was
14th over.
11.
14th
Wait,
over.
1 second. At the end of
14th
15th
over.
over, at the
I'm
end of
telling you,
15th,
14th over, it was
one
11 and
brother,
over.
1 second, Rahul,
When
one
it is,
second. Can you understand? After the end of 15th over, when Jitesh Sharma and
I'm saying
Patidar were
14th
batting
over, and
together,
I don't think you understand what I'm
at the
saying.
end of the 15th over, it was 11. Run rate was what RCB were batting on. Required was 13. And when Patidar got out, the required run rate was 14.5 and RCB's run rate was 10. And by the time he played, he had 2 dot balls. He took 1 single and he again played 4 runs, which was a leg by and another single. So it was not like Rajat Patidar was
Okay, so now
batting
can
well
I speak?
and
Can I
taking.
speak?
Wait, 1 second. At one end, there was someone like Jitesh Sharma who was scoring 22 of 10 balls, 11 balls when he was batting. At the same other end, there was a batsman who's called the captain of the team who's playing 18 of 16 balls, who's not helping in any form of boundaries or scoring runs for the team. He's obviously going to lump pressure on the non-striker to score more runs because the other end is getting no help. Bro, it's simple. It's been very
Okay, so
poor.
now can I
that
speak?
that
You
14th
1 second,
over,
can I speak? You
that
put your
14th
point.
over, you got 4 runs, by the way. That Nitish Kumar Reddy over.
15th over, yes.
Yeah, 15th over. Yes.
Yeah, so now let me speak. I'm not saying Rajat Patidar batted well. I think he had a bad day. I don't think he's had a good run in
Been
the last
batting
few games.
poorly the entire season. So yeah.
I'm saying he's okay. So did I say he has been
The
No,
amazing?
thing
you're
is,
Or-
telling you're
Rahul,
telling this
Rahul,
innings didn't.
1 second.
No, bro,
You're
wait.
not letting me speak.
Now you're telling his
I've
innings.
never once come here and said he had a good day. I'm saying
No. You
when
said
it's
his
six.
innings was
Wait, let
not the
me
reason there
finish,
was
bro.
pressure.
Let me finish. Let me speak.
But
When it's six, bro, you don't want me to speak means I won't speak.
you already
Yeah.
spoke your piece.
Okay. What? What?
Now you came in and you told it's unfair to tell Rajat Patidar's innings was not the reason why
Yeah, so
Jitesh
let
Sharma
me finish. No,
was
so if
under
you're not
pressure
letting
on the
me,
other side.
if you don't let me give you a reason for why I said that, you're never going to know. So when it was 68 of 6 overs in a game where you're chasing nearly 12 and over, I'm sorry, 68 in the last 6 is not the worst equation ever. You need 11 and over, and you expect to get that done from there on. I don't think Rajat Patidar had a good game. I don't think there was insane amount of pressure on both of them when it was 68 of 6 overs. I think they had after that it was a bad over. They had the run out and all of that. In general, bad batting like from Rajat Patidar. I agree, but to say that there was immense pressure, 68 of 6 overs, bro. In today's game where you're chasing 235 on that kind of a wicket, you're expecting the batting team to finish it off. There's not any other game where you're saying the batting team is not going to finish 68 in 6 overs with Tim David and Romario Shepherd to bat and Krunal Pandya, whatever in whatever capacity he can bat. So for me, I don't think RCB were. I think RCB were ahead of the game. Rajat Patidar did not bat well. Definitely deserves has to take some responsibility for not doing well. But I can't say it's his innings that made put so much pressure on everyone else because it was 68 in 6 overs. You need to get the job done from there.
It was 64 and 5 after that.
That's where we're coming back to.
I'm not saying that.
See, Rahul, you're telling
when it is 68 in 6 overs, you cannot afford a 4-run over. But
exactly.
I'm saying at the point of 68 in 6 overs, the pressure has not piled on to the extent that it is made out to be. If it
Rahul, but wait. You're talking about the 14th over. We are talking about 15th over, end of the 16th over, where from 14th over end to the 16th over, there was no help from a person called Rajat Patidar to help the other non-striker release some pressure. The whole point is when you're playing and you still have 68 to win of 6 overs, it's not easy. You can't come here and sit and say it's an easy task to do until the batsmen on the pitch are not batting well enough to do it. The problem is Jitesh Sharma at one end was doing and helping what he could do for RCB. On the other end, a guy like Rajat Patidar, who's the captain, he was not helping the
guy like Rajat Patidar. Like, why are you demeaning him and belittling him?
I am telling you a straight fact,
and belittling him. You're just saying stuff. Yeah, you just say, okay,
you
he did not have a good
game.
You
have
be
to hold
upfront
to
about
high
it.
standards, bro.
You be straightforward about it.
Wait, I'm being very straightforward.
You belittling him is like a little too much. Like,
how did I belittle him? Can I understand how did I do that?
You've been saying it. The way you speak, the way you talk about him, it feels like that.
Can I understand about how? Like, can I understand by? I'm telling you, a guy
I just told you.
You have to understand. You have to understand if Patidar, the number 4, a guy like him means he's the captain. He's supposed to be the star player for RCB apart from Virat Kohli. He's been the second highest paid player for RCB. You have to put him to high standards, and I'm sorry for that.
I'm putting him to high standards.
Literally 2 days ago, when we were talking about punt, we were having the same discussion. How if you're going to get paid high, if you're the captain of the team and you want to be the star of the team, you have to be there to perform.
Oh, 1 second. We can't compare Rajat Patidar and Rishabh Pant. One guy was going for 27 crores who's played 100 matches plus.
It doesn't matter. My whole point is you have to hold players up to standard.
There's no comparison between Rajat Patidar and Rishabh Pant.
Where is the comparison? I'm telling you, you have to hold the top players for higher standards. I'm sorry if you're not able to understand a very simple concept.
Rishabh, you are not understanding a very simple concept where Rishabh Pant, who is a player who's played 100 matches for India, will definitely be held to a higher standard than Rajat Patidar, who has not played that much.
I'm sorry to say that logic is flawed. I'm talking about my team right now.
Simply in today's context, of course, we didn't know what the scenario is with Tim David until he came out to bat eventually. But I'm sure the management, the team, the entire batting lineup, like just before Tim David, had every idea that he cannot run. He's basically he was going to have to play that Glenn Maxwell against Afghanistan kind of innings. So otherwise, at 3 down, Tim David is going to come in that situation where you need 64 from 5 overs. You lose a wicket of either Rajat Patidar or Jitesh Sharma. It's going to be straight up Tim David who's going to come in. After that is going to be Romario Shepherd and then Krunal Pandya. But because Tim David is injured, they had to change up the entire batting lineup. The thing is, the management knew what the scenario is. Considering what is going on, the way they went about in those 13th over, 14th over, 15th over, knowing that, okay, you don't have a guy like Tim David. And let's be real, a lot of times RCB have reached the totals they reached simply because Tim David came in and pulled out 30 of 10 balls, 25 of 8 balls, these 300 strike rate kind of innings. So you know how much of a value he adds to the team. So in a condition like today, if you know that he's going to be very restricted, he's going to play at like 20% of his potential, you need the remaining batsmen, especially the senior batsmen like your Patidars, to come in and play much better than a 112 strike rate, 18 or 16 when you're chasing down a big 230. Now, I'm not going to sit and say, was he the sole reason? Because no, like guys like Romario Shepherd, guys like Krunal Pandya still existed. Like you guys, if needed, they could have played. But somebody who's played, who's coming into bat much ahead of them, ate up 16 balls and couldn't get going, has to take up a, like, I'd say, the bigger chunk of responsibility than anyone else today. That's it.
No, 100%. I think I agree. I think Rajat Patidar takes most of the responsibility today for sure. But what I'm trying to say is that from 60 to 66, you got to get the job done. And that's Salt and
Rahul,
Kohli, RCB as
the
a
point
team
is,
were always ahead of the game, especially after the power play, we were always ahead of the game. It was poor from Patidar and it was poor in that over, especially when Nitish Reddy came on. Because if you look at that over, if you actually break it down, Jitesh Sharma played a dot ball. It was single. Jitesh Sharma plays a dot ball, which he tries to scoop it and Nitish Reddy bowls short. Single, and then there's another dot ball that Rajat Patidar plays. And then the single. So it's that over that changes the game, basically. You have a 4-run over where I think both of them were equally at fault. But yeah, I can't say.
actually, I don't
But
agree
yeah,
with this. I'll tell you
as a
one thing,
team,
Rahul. One
as a
second.
team, Rajat Patidar takes most of the responsibility, of course, because he's the guy who's batting at 4. He's the guy who has not scored the runs quick enough. Fair enough. That's okay. But I'm saying RCB were always ahead of the game. They were the ones who were in the driver's seat to win the game. And from 68 of 6 overs not winning
From
for me.
from 68 of from 64 in 5 overs, it's a lot more, considering Tim David's availability. It's I'd say it's more of SRH's game to win than
Yeah, from
RCB.
64, I agree. That's what I'm saying. How see that there's a 4-run over in
Also,
the
Rahul,
15th over.
you know what? I think I take it back. From 68 in 5 overs also. It was sorry, it's from 68 in 6 overs also. Knowing Tim David's availability, I'd still say it's anybody's game.
Nah, bro. That in today's
Again,
game,
again,
68
based
to
on
6
how
overs is
based
a
on how
batting
Rajat
team in
Patidar
you.
is batting, because you still have two recognized pure batsmen left afterwards. That is in Romario Shepherd and Jitesh Sharma. Because after that is Krunal Pandya, who's on his day he'll hit. Is not, you can't entirely place your bets on him. And then a Tim David who's basically a standing duck. So from 68 from 6 overs, I don't think you can say it was RCB's game to win there, considering how their existing batsmen were batting and who was left to come.
The
Bro,
previous over,
see,
Rishi
for
went for
me,
14 or 15. 14 or
bro,
15. I'm obviously saying from 68 to 6 overs, it's RCB's game. With
for
Nitish
me,
Reddy bowling the 15th. There's no
dude,
way you're backing the bowling team there.
I think it's still a 50-50 game. You have to be genuine. At the end of the day,
I am being
Rajat,
genuine.
1 second, let me finish. Rajat Patidar and Jitesh Sharma is there. In T20 cricket, we've known, bro. There are games where like Rajasthan are having like 10 runs to win over last over and they're not finishing it. It's been very close this entire season. There are teams that's been not been able to score, chase down, 100 runs in a 20-over game. At the end of the day, every cricket game is it's nothing's possible and nothing is set in stone saying you have to chase this within this much over. At the end of the day, you're going against a good bowling opposition. You have guys like Harshal Patel, you have guys like Cummins, you have to face them. And Cummins, one of the best clutch bowlers out there. On his day, if he shows up,
He
it's
had
very
one
dangerous.
over remaining. He had 1 over remaining in the last 6.
He bowled 2 in the last 6
He
rounds.
had
He's the
one
one who
remaining.
got the wickets.
He had 1 remaining in the last 6.
He's the one who got the wickets. And regardless,
He had
my
1
whole
over remaining in the last 6.
so
Cummins.
what? So what?
So in 6 overs, your clutch bowler has only 1
My
over.
whole point is
It's still your game.
My friend, I'm saying that 1 over can change anything. If you're getting a hat trick in that 1 over, it doesn't matter. The game is
Bro, like that, now
totally
I'll say
different.
anything, bro. I'll say I had my clutch bowler 4 wickets he'll get in 1 over.
Rahul, the fact is today it was 68 in 6 overs. You're saying it's supposed to be done. Nitish Kumar came in, who's not a so-called full-time bowler. He's a part-time bowler. He gave 3 runs, 4 runs in the over. Next over, Ishan Malinga came in. He's not a seasoned bowler. He doesn't have experience. He got 2 important wickets in that over. My whole point is any over can change the entire game, and that's what happened today. My whole point is, if you're the captain of the team, if you're supposed to be called one of the star players of the team, you have to be taking us through these situations and take us to the finish line. My whole point is not only today. Today it was pathetic performance. You have to tell it. Let's say whatever it is.
I never denied that.
1 second. My whole point is at the other end, you are telling, it's not Patrida's fault. At the end of the 14th over,
I never said it's
15th
not
over,
Patidar's fault. Where are we getting this from?
at the end of the 15th over, Jitesh Sharma was 22 of 11, while Patidar was 17 of 13 balls. 17 of 13 balls, right?
Okay.
So he took another three more balls. He scored 1 runs in the next 3 balls he faced. Secondly, bro, you have to understand
No, he
the
didn't score
pressure
one
was,
run in the next three balls. You're getting it
he
wrong
got,
because there was a leg by boundary in those three balls.
yeah, so leg
It
by
was a
boundaries
very
are
good ball
not
from
runs.
Malinga, by the
That,
way. That is just
oh my
that is
god,
again
it is
Rahul,
not adding
very
4 runs to the
unfortunate that
team.
the
So he didn't eat up a
brother,
ball. There was not a ball eaten up.
if he was in front of the wicket, that would be out. What's your point? Don't,
Oh,
it's, he didn't
are
score
you
four
guys like
runs.
for real? 1 second. You realize that 4 runs are added to the total. It's helping the team. It's
Rahul,
not a
but
ball
he didn't
eaten up.
score
It's
runs,
not a
my
dot ball.
friend.
It's not a
He didn't
dot
score the
ball.
runs. Okay, bro, if
How
you're
does it
out
matter
here,
if he has scored the runs or not? It has gone to the boundary. You're getting the 4 runs.
Rahul,
My
okay,
God.
great, bro. Rahul, great. Your boy is scoring
Jesus
runs out of
Christ.
leg byes as his fours. Good for you. Continue that. If you're talking
It's
right
not
now,
about
saying
good for you. It's good for the. It's at the end of the day, it's 4 runs for the team.
so you're saying he scored 4 runs through leg byes. I don't know how you're
I
okay
am
with
not
talking like
talking
that.
about Rajat Patidar. You're saying he ate up three in those three balls. He ate up 2 dots. He didn't. My point is one of them went for four, but it didn't go to his score because it was leg by four.
Yeah, and if that didn't go for a four, it's a dot ball. My point is he didn't
How
score
is it
runs
a
out of
dot
it.
ball? It is 4 runs to the team's total.
Rahul, if that
Are
was
you
in front of
are
the
you like 1 second? If it is four run
bro,
in four
this.
runs of the last ball
So
in the
did he
game
score that
and it
four
goes for
runs?
it doesn't matter. It was the
It
team that
does
needed the
matter,
runs.
Rahul.
The runs
You're
were added to
you're
the
okay.
total.
You don't want to look at the bigger picture in this. It's
I
fine.
am
Let's
looking at the
do
bigger picture. You are not. I am
how.
saying that
What
four
is the
runs
bigger
of those
picture
three
in this?
balls was the bigger picture. The point is the ball went to the boundary. It didn't matter whether it went off the bat or the pads.
Okay, the simple fact is Patidar scored 1 run in 3 balls. Of the 3 balls he faced, he couldn't touch the bat with his ball. And next ball he got out in the last after that so-called four, whatever it is. Whatever it is. Let's move on. Today, in that same situation where number four is coming and scoring 22 of 11, there was no help from the other side. Pressure on the batsman, got out. Romario comes in, still pressured because balls have been eaten up. Pressure, he got out. We can't do much. We have to move on. Let's go back to even CSK game, bro. For example, that game we had two openers who scored beautifully. Then we had DDP who also played a very good handy, quick runs, got out. Then Patida came in. He scored 11 or 15 in that game, which put us under
No,
pressure.
but
Which
what is the
which
agenda here? Are we here to sit and talk about Rajat's season, or are we here to talk about the
Yes,
game?
Rahul, because we were sitting and talking about this in the beginning, saying he's been great, but the reality it's not been great, and he's been the biggest.
Yeah, it's not
My
been a
whole
good season. Yeah, so that's
no, no,
fine.
no.
But let's talk
Wait.
about the
My
game.
whole point is
Yeah.
RCB has a flaw right now. The whole flaw is the number four position is not fixed, and whoever comes in the number four needs to be a player who can play
Okay.
well.
Would you
Because
change that?
the whole point is we have to talk about what we can do about Padar and why is
Okay,
he
so
not
what would you do?
performing.
What would you do to change the situation?
My whole point is number three is no other. We have to push him ahead. You can't put in more pressure towards the end whether you need players to come and score more runs. Right now, we don't have a number three. DDP is out. He Patil has not been playing well throughout the season. You have to find a different solution. You can't just keep him there and play forward. And my whole point is we have to talk about standards. Like I'm coming back to it. Like we were sitting and talking about how punt has been poor and we've been, going so much about punt, but it's the same thing with Patida, bro. He's putting the team in difficult positions every game as a batting unit. I actually have to be honest. Every time batting unit, when there's a struggle or when we're struggling, I look at it. The number one culprit is always Patida because our openers play well. Even against DC, our openers played well. Even against Chennai, our openers played well. Then the number four comes in. Number three's also been pretty solid in my opinion. Like he's been playing in handy innings. When the number four comes in, he eats up too many balls. He puts on pressure. I feel like it also affects Jitesh Sharma because the way Jitesh Sharma bats, now it's very like he needs to be very edgy every time he bats because he needs to start scoring runs immediately. He doesn't have time to settle, which is fine. But that's how it is. I look at other top teams, their number four is solid. I'm seeing guys like Vadera batting well, Sky batting well on the other time. I'm seeing even Rutherford playing well, for example. Like all the other top opposition have good players and number four and batting well. For RCB, that's the problem. We've had so many collapses this season as a batting unit. I look at it and I have to think why. The main culprit right now is Patidar, and it's the fault. And we can't go into a so-called playoffs while having this big problem. Our number four is not there. Our captain's not batting well. He's supposed to be a star player in the number four position. It's not working out. And we have to hold something. Like at the end of the day, I think if he was a batsman and if he was not the captain, I think he should have been dropped. He would have been dropped in my humble opinion. But that's not going to happen because he's a captain, and that's the only reason that's saving him right now.
Yeah, it's not been a great season. I agree. I don't think it's been a great season for him. Right? It's not. It's been poor, especially in the last whatever few games. Uh, it hasn't worked for him. But given the scenario now, Rishi, do you see RCB making top two?
I mean, it's I would I would still think they can make it to the top two because Punjab's next game is against Delhi. Um, I think Delhi are quite deflated after whatever has happened, and RCB, although they are playing Lucknow, I think they are good enough to get the job done. Lucknow had a brilliant game against Gujarat Titans. Don't get me wrong, but I still feel that if Tim David is not available, that changes a lot of things. So what is going
But
to
are
Yeah,
you
it
happen?
doesn't
saying
look
if
like his. It
Punjab
doesn't
wins
look like his
tomorrow?
foot.
That's what you're saying.
Sorry.
You're saying Punjab wins tomorrow?
No, I mean, if Punjab wins tomorrow, they're confirmed this one, no? Or they have an extra game in hand.
Yeah, they have
They're
one
not
more. But
confirmed.
yeah,
But if
but
they
they will
win,
have.
then
They will be more likely to finish in the top two.
Wait a second, let's check Punjab play Delhi and Mumbai.
Yeah,
Again, I would back Punjab to win the Delhi game, and if that happens, then yeah,
they'll be first. I think if that happens,
then
I
I think
think.
that they're gonna be they're gonna be first or second. They're gonna even if they lose the next game, I don't think RCB will come up to their net run rate. No, it'll come down to net run rate. So it's gonna be pretty close.
yeah, it'll be close between RCB. If Punjab wins one of their two and RCB win their one, it's going to be close on run rate.
Yeah, and LSG has now no pressure. They're playing for pride at this point, but again, RCB still has something to play for. So I'd expect them to get the job done. They've been doing well all season. I don't think one or two, defeats should derail their season entirely because they've been second for a while now. They've been poised to they've been poised to go through in the qualifiers for a while now. So it'll be quite disappointing if they can't get the job done. They haven't lost a game. I mean, this is their first loss in what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So I still think they'd be able to brush this off based on how they've played the season to and finish second.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
going to be Adi.
I'd expect them to brush off this defeat and see through Lucknow and Punjab. If they win, then it's out of RCB's hands, no?
Yeah. But if Gujarat lose their last one, then we still make it.
Yeah, again, as whatever is in
I think
RCB's hands,
Gujarat are
I
playing
think I expect
CSK,
LSG
right? If
to
I'm not
get the job.
wrong.
Huh?
I think Gujarat are playing CSK, so
They
Yeah.
are.
like the whole point is, and I think they're playing home also, if I'm not wrong, the last game. But yeah, for me, I think it doesn't matter where RCB finish. Like overall, when I look at it, there are deeper problems than just finishing top two or top four. I think I said the aim should always be top two, no matter which team it is. Right now, like you have to try to finish top two. Winning today would have solidified that anyways. And the game was there to win today. Like not just in the end, like even coming to the toss, like you should have been able to finish this game and win it. Just for the fact of where you're at the table, what you're trying to fight for versus the team you're going against is the bottom third team of the tournament this year. So you should have been able to win this game regardless of what the conditions were, whatever the other things were. I think going to the last game, a bit of advantage maybe because we understand the conditions, but I don't know what's going to happen with guys like Tim David going into that game.
I don't think
Even
he's
Salt,
good. I think it looks bad. I don't think
yeah,
he's going
I
to.
think even Salt won't play. It's just my opinion because even he had a hamstring problem, and like I don't know. After that, he got out also pretty quick after he
But
had
it
that
seemed
long.
like cramp for Salt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, but it was his hamstring. Like they were working on his left hamstring. Is from what I could see. So again, I don't know about that. And we have guys like Bethel leaving for if we needed an option. Like yeah, we have them for LSG. That's a different topic. But I'm talking about playoffs. I think that's more important. We're going to lose Bethel for sure. We're going to lose. Uh, are we losing Romario? I don't think so. We are, but that's the point. Like point is there are players we might lose. I think the main thing is number 3 and number 4 right now. I think you have to find. I don't. even if I want to be optimistic, I don't see the idea of Mayank coming last 3 games and performing for us in the playoffs. Like he's not played enough cricket outside, like top international cricket, like outside when since last IPL. I don't think he's been there at it. Going coming towards the IPL, and I'm sure, like looking at it, I think he was in vacations, etc. Like it's true, he has immense experience. He's played international cricket a lot, but right now you don't need that experience. You need the power hitting, bro. Like I look at every team, like even look at today, like Abhishek Sharma was there batting so well and even batting better than a guy like Travis Head. It shows that you need to have the intent to bat and bat with power. I don't think Mayank has that, and you could see Dev that did that this season. His mentality is what changed this year. He was okay to go aggressive and lose his wicket. It paid off a bit. For me, coming into that position, I don't think Mayank will be able to do it. I don't see where he can do it. I think Patidar can do it. That's my point. I feel like Patidar, if he comes into a position where you leave him freely and say, you go out there, bat, and just hit. It's okay. Whatever happens, happens. Because we know we don't have Battle go into the playoffs. I think that's the apt response. And then you get in someone like Livingstone if Tim David's not out there to bat. Like you have to find some solution. I think Patidar can come number 3, and then you put Livingstone as number 4. You have to find some solution there and move forward, because I don't think Tim David's going to play at least the next match. This is the only match you can also do some change, chop and changes to see what can work for the team going into the playoffs. I don't think you can play Patidar number 3 in the playoffs all of a sudden. Like it would be a bit of a stretch. Like this LSG game is very important. I feel more qualifying for top 2, kind of sort out that batting order to go into the playoffs. I think just play him part of the number 3. We know his quality if he can bat, and I've seen that, bro. Like he can hit powerfully. And you look at this year, look at last year, for example, he used to always come in when he has to face spinners. The same thing this year. That's one more thing he's not been able to do a lot. Every time he's coming in, it's like the 10th, 11th, 12th over where he's again coming back to the paces when they're coming back. And that's also like almost like stopped his batting performances. I think number 3 is his best position, and he just needs to go there. Like at least for now, like as the solution we need. I think we'll have to get in someone else number 4. I'm worried about that also if Tim David's not there. Now who's going to play number 4? Like Jitesh Sharma, will he come number 4? Will someone like I think Livingstone's the other option, only other option. Will he come in as a number 4? It's a bit tricky now with Tim David out. And the problem is we don't have Dev, that we don't have Battle as a number 3 option. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's the most ideal scenario going into the playoffs. I think for me, more than top 2 right now, the more important thing is setting up the batting order and ensuring they're like ready and confident for the playoffs. Because I don't even if we are ready and going into the playoffs with momentum, I think we can win 3 games in a row if it comes down to that, even if we don't finish in the top 2. But if you're going into the playoffs without having a sorted up batting order, no confidence in the batting order, I think it doesn't matter where we like. It will affect us in the playoffs, and that's what matters more.
I would love to see RCB finish in the top 2. I think we need an extra game is always going to be good. But either ways, I don't see any.
I don't think it's in our hands right now.
Yeah,
It's like
but
for us,
it's not in our hands, obviously. But I don't think RCB will make any changes. I think they will go with Mayank. They will go with Rajat at 4.
I think we'll have to make a change because Tim David won't play. No, you can't
They
play
won't
Livingston.
play, yeah. So I think they might look at Livingston or
What
if
our
they're
next
gonna
game is like 2 days, right? From now, 2 or 3 days, if I'm not wrong.
it's on Tuesday. Um,
I don't
but
think Tim David will come that day.
Tim
for
David
sure.
is not going to play. I'm saying I think they might look at Livingston, or they might if they're going to play Bethel. I don't know how they fit.
See, for me, the problem with Battle is what's the point of playing him? Because we know he's not going to play the playoffs. Like,
Yeah, but
you play Battle
we need the win.
in
If
the
we need
LSG
the win
game.
in that game, then it's worth it. If we need to win,
Guys,
we'll know.
I mean,
we'll know.
I know this is a.
That's my point.
See, I know this
We'll
is a
know
far
everything.
stretch, but what happens in the situation where Tim David is ruled out and Bethel is not there? Do you guys straight up play Tim Seifert?
Bethel won't be there. Like, he won't be there for
Bethel
the
is not
playoffs.
going to
Yeah,
be there.
Bethel is not there, and
Seifert won't be
Bethel
there
is not
for
there. Tim Seifert is the replacement, and assuming Tim David is ruled out, then where do you guys
the
go?
next game.
Next game and for the playoffs.
For the
See, next
playoffs,
game,
I
Cyclones
think. I think
won't be allowed to play next game because Bethel is leaving for the playoffs, if I'm not wrong, right?
Bro, it's easy, bro. Easy answer. I think I have to that question. Sign Chris Gale. Send him up. Let's go, Chrissy. But no, bro. I don't know. Even Tim Seifert, if you play him, where will you play him? You can't play him at the top of the order.
No, you
Where
play
you
him
gonna
for
play?
Tim David is the point.
How you play him for Tim David, but where will you play? You can't play him at down the order. No, he never
Plane
bats down the
three.
order. If you play him at three, then you need
Then
an
you lose
Indian.
a
Then you
batting
need an
order because
Indian. Then you need an Indian to finish. Then you need somebody like a Swastik Chikara who has not played the entire
No,
season.
no. The remaining players come one step down. So Jitesh Sharma will
Correct.
essentially be a finisher.
No, no. If you're playing that way, there's an Indian who has to go. No, you're dropping Mayank basically at number three. You're dropping
Yeah,
him.
yeah. Essentially, you're
So then
dropping
you need
Mayan.
you're playing another Indian batter in Tim David's position. Then
bro, but
you're
won't we
you're
sign
dropping two
someone?
players. So you will be
Yeah.
playing Swastik Chikara most probably, but that won't happen because we have seen that even when they were in that position, they chose to go with Manoj Bandge over Swastik Chikara. So we don't know what the Indian options are going to look like. So that is a tough. It's a very tricky game to play to bring a top order foreigner into this team.
But I don't think next game is allowed, is my point. It's only
Tim
when
Seifert is
Bethel.
not playing next game. Next game, if
No,
he's
no.
there, play
Playoffs.
Jacob Bethel.
He's only allowed in the playoffs. No.
Yeah,
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 but
Jacob Bethel is there. That's fine, bro. If Tim David goes, I don't know, bro. I don't know what they. I don't know how it's
see,
going to be.
like,
It's not
see, for
very
me, it is simple. Like, we know Bethel won't be there in the playoffs. There is no point of making him play number three next game if the fact is that he won't be there in the playoffs and we'll have to bring back Mayank. If that's the case, I would rather give Mayank the next game also. Like, you have to let him get settled into IPL, get settled
No,
into this
I
battle.
think he will play. I don't think they will change anything.
Yeah, but my whole point is, I really do think they have to find a solution. I don't think, bro, it's a fact. Like Patel struggled in the number four position, and you can see why. It's no difference to what it has been before. Like, why not? You look at DDP this season, the way he batted in the number three position, it was more like, I think even Andy Fowles has said it, right? He's like, you go out there to bat and smash how much ever runs you can and come back. We're not here to sit and watch 100 of 70 balls, 80 balls. We want a quick 40 of 20 balls. And I really think Patidar can do that. And I feel like if Patidar did that last season so many times, he used to only come play 40 or 50 of like 20, 25 balls. And he, even if he got out, it's fine. It helped us a lot last year. I think we have to get back that formula this year to just let Patidar go in and bat how he wants and get runs quickly. Like with him coming at number four, I don't think that's going to happen.
Hmm.
Because when he's coming at number four, I think he's in two minds. He's like, should I play it a bit slowly or should I hit from first ball? Like he doesn't know what to do because if number four gets out quick, then you have two, three batters left and it looks a bit bleak. And right now, I rather have Patidar at number three because I just don't see how Mayank can fit in. Like,
Yeah.
for sure, he can prove me wrong, but I would rather have Patidar number three, like Jitesh number four, or Livingston number four. Like, it does just help, like, having. And also, Livingston is a power hitter. I think he can come in and start hitting balls from first ball if it's needed. Like, we've seen that he can do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think I think stadiums like, and for me personally, I think stadiums like the Punjab stadiums and Ahmedabad, I really do think Livingstone can be useful there. Like he is a power hitter, and in those stadiums, if you're able to get sixes out of your power hitting, you can score runs. Like I'm sure that that's a more suitable area for him to play than what he's played before.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's where we are. It's going to be an interesting finish, of course. Tomorrow it's the Punjab Kings against Delhi Capitals. It's still a game that will play a role in deciding the top two. But yeah, it's disappointing. I think if you're an RCB fan today, I know we didn't touch upon the bowling just before we finish. I just want to say that I was a little let down by the bowling as well because I think we were not up to the standards that we were at before the break with the ball as well. Too many loose deliveries and lots going on. So
Josh Hazelwood is really
yeah, no, I
misplaced.
mean, no, even without Josh Hazelwood, I just don't think we were up to the mark. But it is what it is. So we move, and yeah, we'll be back, guys, soon enough. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the videos. Subscribe to Sports Kabri, and we'll see you soon.